So I'm adding Suchitra right now. And then we have Divya, we have Nora, who is a birth landscape. She has been with the Birthing Network for a very long time. She's one of the founding members of Bangalore Birth Network. And we have Meghna, and Meghna gives her heart and soul, everything out to this network. Okay, let's see who is able to come on live. So basically, if you are on this page, which is called the Bangalore Birth Network page, I'm assuming you probably know a little bit about the Bangalore Birth Network and the work we are doing. And today we will be talking a little bit about it. We'll be sharing why why this means so much to us, and all of us are doing it voluntarily. Just giving ourselves 100% without expecting anything in return. So I'm trying to invite you, Divya. Please make sure that you are on camera. Definitely, Meghna, it has been a powerful journey, and I'm so glad that I met you, because I had recently moved to Bangalore and I was lost. I had my first birth in the US, and then after I came here, I was essentially really lost, whom to contact, because I obviously went the traditional birthing route, but at the same time I wanted a more holistic approach towards my birth. And I always wondered, whom to reach out to. I mean, who could give me some information authentically, the right kind of information which is scientifically based, but at the same time, it's not based under fear. And that is the time I reached out to Bangalore Birth Network. And I was wondering, I'm not sure how much I have to pay them. I'm reaching out to them, but I'm not really sure how it works. And it's hi Nora, how are you?
Hi, I'm well, thanks. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Namaste from India, and I believe you are in Chicago, right?
Oh, I am chilly, cold Chicago, chilly,
Oh
snowy
my gosh,
Chicago.
it's like 10 inches of snow in the last week or so.
Yeah,
Amazing. I mean,
yeah,
like, stay safe. Hmm.
it's so nice to be connected to everyone. I don't know who's watching, but it's really lovely. I hold the whole birth community in India and in Bangalore so dear to my heart, and I'm just overwhelmed. I'm happy to be
Thank
here and
you.
talking to
And
you. Yeah.
Nora, because I have been associated with BBN for the last 1 year while I was pregnant and during my journey. But for people who are new, and even the veterans, do you mind like sharing a little bit about yourself and how you're associated with BBN? And I believe you are one of the founding members, correct? So how did it start? If you could give us a brief overview, that would be awesome.
Yeah, so I am a midwife trained in the US, and I am a public health researcher. I have a degree in public health, and this was back in 2007. We were a group of mothers and childbirth professionals, and we just people found us, and there was an overwhelming requests from women. They wanted support during their births. Their doctor told them that they're 35, they need a C-section, all that kind of thing. We never advertised or anything, but people would find us, and there was a doula from New York, Paige, and a mother and a child. Asha Kilaru, who is a public health researcher in Bangalore for many years, and myself. And we really just said, hey, we should start this group. They had had some experience with groups like this in New York, I think.
Okay.
And that was it. And it was really the women in Bangalore who prompted this. It was consumer demand. It was
And
women
thank
who
you
were
so
looking.
much for, taking this initiative and coming to India, because even though, people think that India, because of the tradition and because of being in the East and being the birthplace of yoga and Ayurveda, it should be very holistic. But the reality is that we are losing our roots. So thank you so much for coming to India and bringing us this knowledge back, because we as women need that support. And
Well, I
you know,
would say that India, like so many places, suffers from too much too
information.
soon and too little too late. So
Yeah.
in the urban areas, we get too much intervention, ultrasounds at every prenatal, and too many C-sections even before due dates happen. And then in the rural areas, you can have 80 kilometers with no emergency obstetric care and only an ox cart to get there. So yeah, I'd say that India's typical in that sense, that a lot of emerging economies are experiencing this dichotomy.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. But the good thing is that people are waking up and they're realizing, that they have options and they have the support, which is what we women always ask for. So, I believe you wanted to talk about the birth landscape and the birth workers and midwifery. Would you like to shed more light on that?
Yeah, just that, when we started out, there wasn't much happening in terms of birth professionals and midwives. Birth India started in the same year in 2007, and that was magic because not only was a movement starting in Bangalore, there was one starting nationally. And
Okay.
we instantly became connected with women in the country who were on the same page. And it became clear from that moment, that first year, that we were part of a national movement. And we were going to focus locally about to help women in our city. And at the time, there were two childbirth educators who you would hear about only through word of mouth. There was no internet groups, there was no Facebook groups, no one had a web page. I mean, it seems still kind of strange now because we're so used to all of these Facebook groups and everything, but that wasn't the case back then. And there was one doula who didn't even know about, who's Tina, and she's still active today, but at the time we
She was
didn't know her.
I
Yeah.
wanted to
Oh,
check
great.
yeah, when I reached here, I had 2 or 3 doulas back there with my first birth in US. My son was born in Phoenix. And then when I came here and I'm like, I need a doula, I need a doula. Finally, somehow I reached out to Tina, and Tina was somehow not available. She was, supposed to go to her son's wedding in Canada while, I was expecting my child. And I asked her, oh, can you recommend somebody else? And she's like, there are only 2 professional licensed doulas in the India. And my jaw literally
Yeah.
dropped, Nora. I was like, are you kidding me? So
Yeah.
it gives me goosebumps when I think about it. How can it be possible?
Yeah. I mean, a lot has changed since those 10 years ago. We have a lot more childbirth educators that are certified, professional, amazing at what they do. We have a lot more lactation support counselors. We have BSMI, the breastfeeding support for Indian mothers. We have a lot more in those areas, but for doulas, it's still, we need more. And this is the second point I wanted to talk about is birth professionals. While we have many more, I mean, it's a huge city and travel times are really long. Parents struggle to find a childbirth class that doesn't involve going through traffic, or even a supportive doctor who's close by. So really our goal is to get birth professionals in every neighborhood, and there is so much more opportunity now to train in India than there was back then. It used to be that you had to get a foreign certification training. It was expensive.
Okay.
Times it was required that you had to travel. Vijaya Krishnan at Healthy Mother was one of the first Lamaze certified teachers who could actually administer the Lamaze test. She's still there. In addition to Lamaze, we now have Kappa India. That is a local organization, meaning a domestic in
Yes.
India,
So
where you
can you
can get
explain
doula
our audience what
certification.
kappa means? I believe, a lot of people might not be aware of it.
It means, I think, Childbirth Association of Professionals or something like that, but it's and Kappa India, CAPPA. You can look it up online.
CAPPA, look
Vijay is
that up
there
if
with
you are
her.
interested in childbirth education and if you want to be an educator.
Yeah, and we have also Birth School India is the latest. So anyone out there who's listening, who is interested in becoming a doula, becoming a lactation consultant, becoming a childbirth educator, it starts with that spark, your interest, your passion. Contact us. We can definitely connect you with other women who are on the same path. And that's the advantage today, too, compared to before. There are women who have done these programs who are now working as independent childbirth professionals, and they're available for mentorship and for guidance. And so are we. So
And it's
that's just a pinch. We've got more childbirth educators
so I
and
just wanted
childbirth
to,
professionals.
for our audiences who are planning to take that path, it's totally legal. I mean, recognized by the government of India, this kind of a profession, and people are able to make a livelihood out of that, correct? I mean, what is your experience with that?
Yes, different. There's no, it's really goes state by state, and it
Okay.
also goes even hospital by hospital. Some hospitals will allow doulas, other hospitals won't. But the first thing you need to do is get your certification under your belt.
True.
And once you're recognized, then it becomes easier to get a foot in the door. And definitely women support themselves with
One
this
more thing,
income. And
one quick question I have is a lot of people are not aware about this term doula. So would you like to share what a doula is real quick?
yeah, so a doula gives emotional, social support throughout the end of pregnancy and the beginning and during labor and birth and after the birth. So you usually meet with your doula on in the last trimester and you get to know her, and she the labor and delivery. Sometimes, people think, oh, I'll have my mother there, I'll have my sister there, I'll have my spouse there. And
Exactly.
those people, when they see you in pain, they can really kind of lose it. Or they can get scared and say, oh, you should just have the C-section, or. And a doula is a trained person who is familiar with all the ins and outs of labor and delivery and can explain to you what's going on, can massage you, help you breathe, focus through every contraction. And the doctors are in and out, they're not, and the doctors really aren't there. The nurses are in and out, and you need someone there, especially through the tougher parts of labor, to say, this is normal, this is okay, focus and breathe, get through this one, and then keep, and don't worry about the rest. So that kind of, throughout history, women never labored alone. And if
No?
there's one thing we really want to address, it's that women shouldn't labor alone. Labor will be painful for most women. Some women don't experience it that way, but don't let anyone kid you. It can be tough. But when pain turns to suffering is when that pain goes unaddressed and no one's there to help you and comfort you. There's a lot of tricks that doulas have. Heating pads, massage, hands and knees, all these things that they introduce to make the labor more comfortable and to get you through it. And then after the birth, they help with the baby latching and breastfeeding and healing your body and things like that.
So women, for all of you who are out there, you know, From my personal experience, even if you have all the support of your family, go get a doula. She will make a profound difference in the way you experience your birth. This could be the best memory you have, or it could leave you, emotionally drained for years. So if you want to have a beautiful birth experience, go ahead and get a doula. So I also wanted to talk about the crowdfunding that we are doing. The Bangalore Birth Network is raising funds to reach a wider audience. And whatever you just mentioned, Nara, it's so important from a person's point of view, especially like, even in India, we are becoming more and more nuclear right now. In the past, we used to have joint families. It was easier, but now more and more more and more working moms. We need that support all the time. And we need to make people aware that, yes, they have options. And at the same time, we need to make people aware of this new profession, so to speak. And that is the mission of Bangalore Birth Network, to reach a wider audience. And we want to ensure awareness on safe and supported birth is accessible to all women. And for that, we are doing a campaign. It's a crowdfunding campaign which ends tomorrow night, midnight. Our goal for this campaign is actually 9 lakh rupees. And so far, we have raised 3,30,900 as of today. And, we really would like to have that support. I believe, Nora, you have been working with Bangalore Birth Network for years. You said 2007, is that correct?
Yeah, since the founding. And what I'd say about the fundraising is, we've always been a dedicated group of volunteers. We've never charged for
Exactly.
any of our
Yeah,
services.
nothing, no.
And we're with you on the journey, from the time you contact us to any need you have until your children are, far beyond their newborn stage. Um,
You're
we are the village, and
exactly
women find not only just us but lifelong connections through the network,
some of
when they're pregnant and having babies and raising their kids together. But what we've found is now we do have staff, we do have some funding and paid staff, and so much more gets done, so much more gets done in a timely manner. We can touch so many more people in a we when we have funding, and that's just the reality of most organizations. So we have a core group that's working every day with modest salaries, but working every day to keep the network going. And from that core, everything else. Yeah, we do support. We do ask for financial support, and in recognition of the last 10 years of the work we've done, and for the next 10 years that we know how much more we can do.
we can do.
I don't. So I don't know if you want to bring anyone else on. I've been
I would
talking
love
for a
to, yes.
while.
Yeah, I will, let you go, but I mean, don't go anywhere, stay here, but I'll just invite
Okay.
somebody else on the call here. And the website for Bangalore Birth Network crowdfunding is bitgiving, BIT giving / safe birth. So please go ahead and look at that link. Meghna has already shared that link in the comments box. And this team has been working non-stop for the last, oh my God, I don't know, like last 10 years. And now is the time that we need your support. Hi, Divya, so glad to have you here. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Parul. Happy to be here.
Yeah, I was just telling our audience here that, this team has been working tirelessly for the last 10 years, and now we need that support to reach a wider audience. So please support us. It takes a village to raise a child, and this village is going to stay with you till that child goes out of your house and bears their own children, and even after, So, hi, Divya and Divya. So, tell us a little bit about yourself, your association with BBN, and what are you going to talk about today?
So, Parul, like how you moved from the US to Bangalore and BBN came to help you when you were looking for support around your birth, my story is a little bit similar. I was in Gurgaon when I was expecting my second, and when I moved to Bangalore, BBN helped me connect with the doula, Tina, here, and she made so much difference in my birth that I went and got trained to be a doula subsequently.
Wow, so we
So,
have another doula here. Well,
yeah.
congratulations.
Thank you. And I could connect with my hypnobirthing practitioner thanks to BBN. So I really have got a lot of support in the new city thanks to the awesome work that Bangalore Birth Network is doing.
And
It's
a
been
quick reminder, if you are watching this live, please feel free to share this video in your group or your timeline so more people can view it. I am like so busy interviewing people here that I'm not able to share it. So please go ahead and share it. So sorry, Divya, go ahead. Hi, Parimala. Thank you.
So I want to share about how language we use around birth impacts our childbirth experience. I feel
Okay.
this is one tool which we have a lot of control over compared to many other things which happen during birth. And sometimes we either can choose to use it to its whole extent, to the whole potential possible, and sometimes we just choose to ignore this most powerful tool we have with us. It can make a lot of difference in the way not only we think about birth, but also in the way everyone around us looks at a mother during the birth process. So,
Mhm.
for me personally, I think that today, looking at a mother who is looking at a pregnant woman kind of gives people the license to, keep commenting like, oh, are you sure you're going to be, are you going to have twins? Or, are you sure you're due in May? What gives people right to give those kind of negative comments at those kind of times? So,
The whole world is your advisor and your doctor when you're pregnant.
yeah, and it doesn't help at all during that time. So for me
Confuses you.
personally, yeah. So me personally, I would say, okay, we'll talk about this later. And it gives people the license to share their most horrific tales that they've had during their journey. I would kind of just
True, true.
tell people, okay, can we talk about this later? I wouldn't like to talk about, if you cannot make a positive comment right now, then let's, not talk about it. Not in the frame of mind to talk about this right now. So that was something which helped. And even, simple terms like when language we use around birth, it's like, okay, contractions have started, your water broke, you lost your mucus plug. These terms kind of make you feel as if something abnormal or unnatural is happening. So
Makes sense.
using
Yeah.
positive visualization and affirmations or even hypnobirthing helps create
Okay.
such a positive, makes you feel as if it's a normal process because the language impacts on the thoughts you're feeling. So that's
Right.
something I personally feel. And
You
failure to
spoke it
progress. Oh
like,
my God.
I
Sorry.
beg your pardon. Say that again.
And failure to progress, that label is like, oh my God, I can't even, say how much it impacts a mother being labeled as that. Whereas it's actually the failure of the doctors. So
Hmm.
it's not a failure to progress of the mother, but a failure of her support system. So, the language around birth really needs to change. And what I could suggest to make this happen is asking people to talk about it positively. And another thing is getting your birth team on the same page. So, yeah, it's great that as a mom, you've done positive affirmations, you've done visualizations, you've got your hypnobirthing, tracks ready, and you've thought about it in that way. But your partner, your doula, or your parents, or whoever is there with you in the birth team, it makes a lot of difference to have them on the same page as well. That's what I
That's
wanted to
true.
share.
That's true. And have only those people who are supportive and positive during your labor in the birthing room, you know. And even if it's your mom, but you think she's negative, let her go, you know, let her relax and tell her, hey, we'll talk later when the baby's here. You know, have that supportive thing. Thank you, Divya. Anything else that you would add?
And I think the fear factor makes a lot of difference. Once you know, you trust in the process, the millions of women who've gone through you before this, gone through the same process before this, and we kind of get a more supportive environment in place. I think mothers shouldn't be fighting at the point of birth. They should be relaxed and supported to have the birth experience that they want rather than the fear surrounding them. And it really saddens me that there are very few birth centers giving that kind of support in India today. So, really kudos to the BBN team for making this kind of support available to more women around. It's the need of the hour, it needs to happen. Thank you.
And this can happen with your support, you know. So here today we are talking about the BBN crowdfunding project, and our entire goal is to reach as many people as possible, and not only in the elite crowd, but our main focus is the people who cannot afford, you know, a safe birth practices, the lower income or the poor people, you know, quote unquote, for that matter, for lack of better term, actually, you know, that has been a very big mission of Bangalore Birth Network, to reach out to the masses and not just the classes. And this can happen only with your support. The website is in our comments box. Meghna will share it again so that you don't lose it, but it's bitgiving.com/safebirth. So please go there and support our crowdfunding project. It's on till tomorrow night, midnight. February 17th, which also happens to be my anniversary. So you could think of it as my anniversary gift, and please support BBN as my gift from you. So Divya, I'll let you go and let's see who else we can invite today.
Thank you,
Thank
Parul.
you, Divya. So we have some wonderful people who want to join us and they want to share. So we just had Divya, and now let me invite Suchitra. She was trying to get on earlier also, but for some reason I was unable to add her. I hope I'm able to add her now. Suchitra, are you able to come online? Hi, Aaron. So I'm trying to add Suchitra here, and she is actually you know, a mother who supports Birth Network, and she wanted to talk about the challenges that women face. For some reason, I'm unable to invite her. So Chitra, I have approved you. Are you able to come live? Meghna, I don't see you here. I think you had something to say also. So is there any possibility that you could request to be on the live video and I could approve you? So I'm just sending you a request here, Suchitra and Meghna. If you could accept that request, it would be awesome. And then we could, you know, have you wonderful people. Yeah, I can see Suchitra online, but let me, you know, just invite Meghna if you're there. Maybe you can go ahead and really share about your experiences and everything that you do with the Bangalore Birth Network. I am trying to add you, but for some reason it's dropping again and again. So all I could see here is live viewers. I have some more viewers here. Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, technology is our best friend, but it can also be our worst enemy in times of need. Meghna, I had already invited you. I'm not sure if you received my invitation. If you did, please come ahead and click on that green button and you know, they will receive an invite to you to join the broadcast. That's what I'm doing. I wonder why it's dropping. But anyway, we are here talking about the Bangalore Birth Network. the wonderful work that the group is doing. And we're talking about the fundraising event that we are doing right now. It's a crowdfunding project, and we like to have all your support at this point of time. Meghna, I'll try to invite you because I'm not able to add Suchitra. So yes, I am able to add you. We'll have Meghna here. Hey Meghna, how are you?
Hi, Parul. It's so nice to hear you talk about everything BBN's been. It's really overwhelming because we've been in this process, we've been in crowdfunding mode, in fundraising mode for the last couple of months. And to just hear you wrap it up so beautifully and to just hear you take us through the journey of how BBN began and where we are right now. And to hear Nora talk about it, straight from the horse's mouth, if you will. She was here at the beginning. She's here now. It's amazing. I'm feeling really overwhelmed with emotions. It's been great.
And I know you have been working tirelessly. I just wanted to share real quick about my experience. So I arrived on this Bangalore Birth Network support page, the group probably, and I saw your phone number, and you just called me and you spent 1 hour talking to me, and I'm like, how can people be so nice? That was my really like first reaction. And then I'm like, she's so nice, she's so kind, and she's just giving herself authentically 100% without asking for anything in return. And thank you for being there with me during my journey. And I would like you to, now take over and maybe, talk about why you got associated with BBN, and little bit about yourself, what you do for it, and how can women support an agency around themselves when they are actually in that critical hour or critical phase of their life.
Yes. It was actually a really beautiful conversation with you as well, Parul. It always amazes me how much information we seek and how much information we hold. And I feel a little frustrated at times when I feel like I can't offer women a viable option, a viable, safe and supported environment in which to give birth in. But at the same time, I also see all the work that's been happening for the last 10 years to finally bring us to where we are right now. And I have hope. And this is what I wish to pass on to all women, that continue to seek information, continue to ask these questions. And that's really what we are seeing in the city today. Women are asking these important questions. They are seeking to protect their own birth experiences. Sometimes women do find us maybe from a personal recommendation, maybe they've seen a post, and they come to us asking, they probably didn't have a great first birth experience, or they've probably heard some really horrific birth experiences, and they're worried, they're fearful, and they're asking us questions like, what should I do? What doctor should I choose? Which doctor would you recommend? And I actually like to take them back to the beginning, talk to them about how their pregnancy has been and what kind of care they received during their pregnancy. So the point you mentioned, Parul, about women being vulnerable in those really precious moments of labor, I honestly feel it begins a lot earlier when you are pregnant and when you have all of this anxiety, you have all of this hope around your pregnancy, around the birth of your baby, and you feel like you're not being offered the right kind of environment. You're not being offered support. So I like to take them back to the beginning of their pregnancy and talk to them about, what their wishes are, what their choices are. And these may not be conversations which are jargon heavy or which have scientific terms in them. Women are simply saying, and all we need to do is listen. Women are simply saying, I want to feel in control. I want to feel like I have birthed my baby feeling in control and knowing that my body is doing what it's supposed to do. But unfortunately, many times women lose or they have to relinquish this control either out of fear or out of lack of information. So how can you really change this? How can we empower women, not just with information, but with viable options to then give them the kind of birth that they really want and deserve? A big step to that, and I think I will reiterate at this point what everyone in the live video already has mentioned: build your birth team. That is the most crucial step. Build your birth team. It could consist of your family, but it should also include a birth professional who is knowledgeable, who is experienced, who can hold space for you when you are the most vulnerable, when you are really in need of that kind of talking to or reasoning or logic, and you just need to go into that space in your mind in order to give birth. So build your birth team, get your family on board, work with a birth professional, work with a doula, work with a childbirth educator to then learn how your body works. And the next step to, now you have your birth team, you have a doula, you have your family on board, and you're really thinking about this. What next? I would say make a birth plan. This could be as simple as bulleted points. I want to have my baby handed to me right after birth. I want delayed cord clamping. I need help initiating breastfeeding within the first 30 minutes. This could be as simple as that, bulleted points, or it could be a visual birth plan where you're just using icons to then put down your choices. This birth plan needn't sit with you. It needs to go to your care provider. It needs to go to your doctor. It needs to go to anyone who's going to be with you during birth, whether it's your family, whether it's your doula, your birth partner, or your care provider. So you have a birth team, you have a birth plan, move on and find the right care provider. Now, this is really the most complicated piece of the puzzle, I would say. What is a right, who is a right care provider? What are you looking for, really? There are a few key points that you can keep in mind, and there's actually a very nice write-up on our website on what to do when you're looking for a doctor. What kind of questions you need to be asking.
Website is that? What is the exact URL of the website?
Yeah, the website is bangalorebirth.org, and look for the section where looking for a doctor is described. There's actually a list of questions there that you can download. This is a little difficult for us because we are not used to questioning our doctors. We are not used to questioning you. And you can't just go in there and ask questions that have an yes or no answer, and then where are you, what are you left with? So we encourage women to ask open-ended questions to then understand where their care provider is coming from, what processes they follow, what would they do. Instead of asking, would you induce at 40 weeks, you ask, what would I do? What would you do if I am at the 40-week mark and my labor hasn't begun yet? So this allows for a conversation to begin, and you can really understand what your care provider is thinking, what processes they will follow. Right. So find the right care.
Talking to your doctor, ladies, mom, there is no fear in talking and questioning and, getting answers for what really means to you. Have that freedom, I mean, women are known for talking, so don't be fearful of talking when we really need to talk, and that's when we are talking to our childcare provider during the time of our birth.
Absolutely. I mean, doctors are not necessarily, it's not a blanket evil. Hospitals and doctors are not a blanket evil. They are watching out for you. But you watch out for yourself. You take care of your own emotional journey through birth as well. You're not just a vessel for the baby to be born. You're not just a womb. You're a whole person, body, mind, and soul. Take care of all of these and find a care provider who can offer you respectful care. Respectful care can mean something as simple as a smile when you enter the consultation room, to being willing to answer questions, to being willing to study your birth plan with you, to give you the ecosystem in which to have your baby. Respectful care is a very important tenet Moving on to informed decision making, your care provider should be able to give you all the information that you need to make a calculated, informed decision, and not necessarily to the tune of do this or you're putting your baby in trouble. No
You
mother,
speak
no
beautifully,
woman.
Meghna. Yeah. You just speak
Thank
so
you.
beautifully. It gives me goosebumps. And I just wanted to tell also moms that, it's okay to change their provider if they're not happy. I changed my childcare provider at least 5 times during my first one and at least 4 times till the time I found the one that was really in tune with my feelings, emotions, and my birth plan. So don't be fearful or don't think that you have to go with the one that you found for the very first time. Each birth
Absolutely.
experience is different, each lady is different. So just go ahead and do your own research. And Bangalore Birth Network is always there for you, whether you're in Bangalore and even if you are in other parts of the world or the country, because most of the information is available online and people from the network are always available to talk to you about general issues at least. But we can only do whatever we are doing if we have your support, and we need your support. They have been working day and night for the last 10 years, and this is the first time that they're reaching out to the community asking for something in return. And this is not for them. This is again to give back to the community, to spread awareness, to educate moms that they have options, that safe birth is available. The website again is bitgiving.com/safebirth. And Meghna, you have been associated with this organization for such a long time. So you would be the best person to talk about this crowdfunding. So real quick, would you like to share something?
Yes, you're very right, Parul. We have been around for a good 10 years, and this is our very first fundraiser. This is us reaching out to our audience and saying, help us continue to do the work that we are doing, and help us continue to reach women who really need the support that only BBN can offer. We are a unique organization. We help women from all walks of life, whether they are from the lower socioeconomic sector or from the middle and the upper middle classes, whether they are English speaking, computer literate, or from the urban lower socioeconomic communities. We have a really interesting pilot program that we are running in a BBMP hospital. It is a testing ground to understand how we can make a difference in women's postpartum care. We offer one-on-one birth counseling to women. Like you know, Parul, we talk to women directly over the phone. We are a point of contact, and women can reach us for any question, right from which doctor should I go to in the city to, is there a doula that I can hire to this is being advised. How can I empower myself to take that decision? So while we are not offering medical advice, we are definitely a source of evidence-based information that women can access to then make the decision for themselves. And we really need everyone to join this journey with us at this point because there is change. There is a lot of discussion around birth today. It is really at a point where women can actually access the kind of care and support that they need and they deserve. And it is our duty as Bangalore Birth Network to make sure that women in Bangalore, women in the country are able to get this. So yes, please join the journey with us. We are looking to create a safe and supported environment for women from all walks of life. This is the core value of BBN. It has always been and it will continue to be that way.
So please, people, help us reach out to more and more people out there, not just the classes, but also the masses. Our fundraising campaign ends tomorrow night, midnight, February 17th. So if you are passionate about a good future, not just for your child, because your child needs to grow up with other kids, if you really uh, if you really care about the future of our world, of our city, of our country, of our children, then please support this organization. And again, The URL is bitgiving.com/saveword. We have shared it in the links here. And one last time, I'll try to figure out if we are able to add Suchitra into the conversation. For some reason, we are not able to. She was the first person to join us, and now for some reason, she is not here, and we have actually we were planning to have the live session for only 30 minutes, but I believe it took a good 1 hour, because you can see how passionate we are about this topic, and how passionate we are as a network about giving, giving authentically. So we can change the quality of care for all, says Miss Asha, who is also one of the founding members of Bangalore Birth Network, if I'm not wrong. So, that's all from us right now. Please visit our websites, please visit the crowdfunding campaign, and please support our mission. And love to you, all of you, and have a good night. Talk to you soon, and we'll be coming live again in the next few weeks, just to educate you, because that's what we do all the time, educate people and bring all of us together, because that's what Bangalore Birth Network is all about: sisterhood and giving back to the community. So please support us, and thank you all for being here with us tonight on Friday night or Friday morning from whatever part of the world you are, and support us. Thank you. Bye. Good night.